Kohrs rolling dice like he's shooting craps with fate. Lost his last dime, then flipped the script, sold a kidney for that weight. Life's a bull run, but Cat's trapped in a bear pit. Fucked his bankroll like a Vegas whore, now he's chasing that big hit. Options on his wrist, but the market's a wild beast. Ticker tape dreams, he's a junkie at the money feast. Penny stocks popping like pimples on a broke-ass face. Every trade's a shot of morphine, pain masked in market grace. Hedged his soul on Wall Street's roulette. All in or bust, place your bets on regret. Cat Moore's the legend, the degenerate king. From kidney scars to chips that sing. From bust to flush in tens of billions. Cat Moore's broke the bank with a stack of millions. Poker face cold, but his story's hotter than flames. Degenerate kingpin making money in the flames. He's swinging for the fences, naked short on life. Margin calls screaming wife dipped, but that's just strife. His portfolio's a junkyard, but his heart's a casino. Bet it all on a royal flush, saying watch me go amigo. Broker called, said Cat, your assets are cursed. He laughed and said watch me double down or worse. With the fury of a bull and the patience of a junkie, he's playing poker with gods, all in, no flunky. He's a stock market addict, addicted to the thrill. Tickers like a metronome, pumping up his kill. The pump and dump profits, selling dreams like crack. Cat Moore's on the rise, no looking back. From busted flush to flush in tens of billions. Cat Moore's broke the bank with a stack of millions. Poker face cold, but his story's hotter than flames. Degenerate kingpin making money in the flames. So here's to Cat Moore's, the legend of the night. Sold a kidney, lost his soul, but won the final fight. From stock market scars to the poker throne's gleam. Degenerate forever, living the wildest dream.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, my little huevos rancheros. It is a beautiful Wednesday, July the 2nd, I want to say. Folks, I hope you're having an absolutely phenomenal day. The market's currently getting its nuts kicked in, but one thing that was getting its nuts kicked in, Tesla, well, literally as we were getting serenaded by that beautiful music right there, Tesla's delivery numbers came out, just popped. We're going from 300, looks like it's clocking in at 321 and climbing. Old Tesla is off to the races early today. Look at that pop, up 6.7%. This thing so brutalized over the past, 4 or 5 trading sessions, and now having a little bit of life being breathed into it. So the market itself, SPY, slightly red on the day, 0.08% down, so not much there. We did get some ADP numbers that weren't so good, but my biggest concern is actually what's going on in the tech sector. On a relative measurement, tech was very weak yesterday. As you could see this morning, once again weak, but maybe we're going to see a little bit of life from Tesla. So we're going to find out. We have about 25 minutes to go before the market actually opens, before the world's largest casino lets us degenerates in. And between now and then, we do have some important things to talk about. I want to get everyone on the same page. And no, I'm not going to spend all of today's show talking about how I'm getting a beautiful golden brown tan. No. That's not going to be the focus. That's just like a little side point. And I get that in the world of trading and trading influencing, that I'm probably the world's leading sex symbol within the industry. But we don't really need to spend that much time on it. Honestly, folks, it's just like, this is what you come to expect of me. And I expect it of myself. When you come here, you're like, I want a golden tan dude, golden brown tan commenter degenerate, and I get it. I get it. So we're not going to spend that much time there, but obviously early in the show, if you want to give me a little bit of praise, that's like completely acceptable. I'm not going to say no. That would be absolutely insane. So we should probably once in a while talk about the market. Cinnamon buns. Yeah, I'm a golden brown cinnamon bun. That's what I do for the summer. I'm just trying to get a nice base tan for the weekend coming up, Independence Day, 4th of July, because my entire plan is to run around like a menace on Saturday in an American flag overall, like red, white, and blue overalls, nothing else. And I plan on for a day straight consuming nothing but hot dogs. I've already mentally committed to it. But when you do something like that, when you swing for the fences so incredibly hard, you also have to look the part. If I were to pull this off on Saturday, just American flag overalls, only eating hot dogs, if you do that as like a pasty person, like a walking bag of mayonnaise, that's weird. That's creepy, and maybe law enforcement should be informed. But if you were to do the exact same thing with a golden cinnamon bun tan, well, now all of a sudden it's a pretty good bit. And maybe that person is the most patriotic person you've ever seen. And it's funny how just like that little switch can really just change so much, such a massive impact. So that's what I'm working on. That's the big project I have cooking in the background. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. But obviously it looks like Tesla has something it also wants to share with us. Obviously their delivery numbers were pretty freaking good, because that is a 6% Papa-Rooski. All right, so we will obviously circle back to that, but we do have some larger stories to first tackle, and then we'll get into Tesla, and then we'll just get into some degenerate trading, and we'll see what we can make today really do. For those of you keeping score at home, today is day 3 of the trading challenge. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So today is day 3 of the trading challenge, and I'm going to run it back. You already know the challenge. It is, can you go 10 days in a row on 20 plus accounts, making 300 per account? Day 1, day 2, a success. Today is day 3. So we're not even halfway. This is obviously a journey, and every long journey of 1,000 miles starts with your first step, and we're now apparently going to be 3 steps in, but let me just quickly show you just to keep everyone accountable. Not that one, this one right here. As you can see, 2 trading days in, 300, up to 600, have not traded this morning. And actually, I should make sure that my copier is on and I have not messed that up today. Okay, I, for the first time ever, did not mess it up. So, okay, we're actually going to be looking pretty good for market open. And on that note, let me give you the skinny on the whole situation of everything that you should be knowing about. Microsoft laying off 9,000 employees in latest round of cuts. Well, that's brutal for the people, but probably good for the stock, which is also at an all-time high. Anyway, stock futures are little change after tech slide to start the second half. Yeah, so tech, obviously, that's kind of the sad sack. I mean, right here all day yesterday, you could see just on a relative basis, the overall market was fine. It was tech that was just getting destroyed. And even right now in pre-market trading, not looking exactly how you would want it to. But hey, we haven't even started the game today, so let's still be a little bit optimistic. Tesla reports 14% decline in vehicle deliveries, marking second straight year-over-year drop. Well, I guess the market is interpreting in that news a little bit differently, because the stock is currently sky high. But before we get into the Tesla number, the big data drop of the day was right here. The private sector lost 33,000 jobs in June, badly missing expectations of 100,000 increase. So a loss of 33 when they were expecting an increase of 100,000. And that's exactly why, if you look here at 8:15, we started to drop. We were actually green at that point. Well, technically the SPY was green while the Qs were break even. And then that number came out and the market said, whoa. And that's right when we started about 30 to 45 minutes of selling. Right now, a little bit of recovery. Yeah, you could argue that this is a bit of mean reversion, a bit of overreaction. You could argue maybe it's the Tesla numbers, but regardless, maybe we did find a bottom. Obviously, the Qs bouncing right at the low of yesterday. So that was the big report that came out at 8:15 today. So I just want to clarify where we're at with everything. But between now and really the end of today and really the end of the trading week, we have some stuff going down. House Republicans threaten to sink Trump's mega bill. Tax and spending legislation moves back to lower chamber for another vote. So here's the skinny on the big, beautiful bill. It passed the Senate narrowly. It needed the Vice President, J.D. Vance, to be the guy who broke the tie. It was 50-50. He voted in favor, obviously, 51-50. It passed in the U.S. Remember, you have to go from the Senate now to the House. And as of this moment, as of late last night, as of early this morning, the House doesn't really have the numbers it needs to, but obviously things change and they change quite dramatically. House Republicans don't have the vote yet to pass Trump's mega bill. President Donald Trump's mega bill is now with the House, where the Senate changes need to be approved a final time. But some Republicans are already objecting to the revised language. House Speaker Mike Johnson can lose just a handful of votes and still get the legislation passed on a party line vote. Remember, it is the self-imposed deadline of this Friday, old July 4th. Trump tax bill hits Republican resistance in House ahead of vote. So this is going to be very interesting to see what the developments are today. But first, I think Bloomberg actually did a pretty good breakdown on this one.
The big, beautiful bill hitting some resistance in the House as lawmakers return to Washington to vote on the Senate's version of the legislation. Joining us now from Washington is Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall. Now, Tyler, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, making this sound quite straightforward. I imagine this is not going to be straightforward.
It is not
for the next
going to
24
be.
hours.
It's going to be a fight.
Yeah, hey, John, good morning. This is by no means a done deal, though we are only expecting President Trump to ramp up the pressure from here, which does hold a lot of weight in Washington. We have to keep in mind that this House bill was designed not to ping pong between the two chambers, which means that if House members do want to make changes, they're likely going to have to call what's known as a conference committee on the procedural level, which means the Senate would have to get involved. That's sort of the wonky way of saying that if they do want changes, it's going to take time, and that could ultimately jeopardize that July 4th timeline. Now, we're running into the same issue in the House that we just saw play out in the Senate, which is that mainly Republicans are on board with the tax cut policy in this plan, but they're pretty divided over the spending cuts. And House Speaker Mike Johnson can really only afford to lose 3 Republicans, and he already lost 2 back in May. Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio, and we're not expecting either of them to budge on their no vote, which means he can only afford to lose 1 more in addition in order for this to pass. Now, perhaps the most vocal group emerging at the moment is the House Freedom Caucus, who are accusing the Senate of not living up to its agreement for deeper spending cuts by a tune of $500 billion. But I would also keep our eyes on some of those moderate Republicans in some important battleground districts who have raised concerns about the changes to Medicaid. Not necessarily tightening the work requirements, but lowering the Medicaid provider tax, which would essentially mean less federal matching funds for these states that expanded coverage under the Affordable Care Act. In fact, John, 16 of these Republicans signed a letter last week saying that they would not support the bill if it lowered this provider tax. And at this point, we're waiting to see if they're willing to defy President Trump.
So this will be hot news of the day. So please pay attention to that. Clearly, we're already seeing some funkiness of just even the Senate vote and the impact on the overall market. And then when you dive into it, some individual equities are definitely either going to be winners from this or losers. Chip makers get larger tax credits in Trump's latest big, beautiful bill. Under President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill passed by the Senate, tax credits for semiconductor firms such as NVIDIA, Broadcom, those are semiconductors. Building capacity in the U.S. could raise to 35% from the existing rate of 25%. Companies eligible for these credits could include chip makers such as Intel, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, and Micron Technology. So, yes, obviously, this is going to have an impact on the overall market. But once again, individual sectors are either going to do very well from this or are going to get completely shamacked. Trump megabill acts as the 7.5 thousand EV tax credit after September. This plays a little bit into the fact that really, Tesla was getting destroyed up until seemingly this morning. So right here, Tesla not long ago, 356, getting smacked all the way down to 300, currently up about 5% in pre-market trading. The reason it's up in pre-market trading was because this just now came out. Tesla's second quarter 2025 production and deliveries and deployments. So it came in at 384. They were expecting 389. Some analysts think that there was going to be enough brand damage that it'd be down to 350. So the fact that some Wall Street was thinking it was going to horrifically miss this number when really it just only barely missed it, that's exactly why Tesla's up in pre-market trading. But a better conversation most likely is, why has it been down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different days in a row? Well, it's just because that we know Tesla and really is getting caught up between the feud of Musk and Trump. And if you don't know, we have an update video on it. It came out recently, but the TLDR is this, is Musk was basically made his opinions very well known to not pass this bill because it's going to increase our spending and our deficit both by quite a bit. And his entire effort with Doge was to cut spending, and he wanted to save taxpayers' dollars. And right now, whether you're a massive Trump supporter, hater, whoever it is, the numbers are pretty evident. The big, beautiful bill will expand our spending. It will increase the deficit. Obviously, it's up to you and your personal political opinion of if you think it's a worthwhile trade-off or not. But from just a pure dollar standpoint, it will increase spending. It will increase the deficit. Once again, that is like a non-politicized statement. You might think that it's worth it. You might think that this larger hole is going to be fixed somewhere else, such as the ERS or tariffs or whatever it is. I'm just telling you, exclusively doing an analysis of the big, beautiful bill, it will increase spending. It will increase the deficit. And that is something that Musk was not a fan of, because he was arguing this whole effort with Doge was to, hang on, from a government standpoint, let's be a little bit more fiscally responsible. So that's what they were fighting about. And then it just kind of spun out of hand. If you go to X and Twitter, and once again, this is all in the update video, he basically said he will be using his personal money to fund the campaigns for anyone running against the people who voted for this, who basically approved it. He said he was going to start a whole new political party, one that was much more focused on paying attention to taxpayer dollars. So that got things spun up, and then it got over to Trump, and Trump was like, actually, I think I might maybe look into deporting him. That came out yesterday. At one point, a reporter literally asked Trump if he'd look into deporting Musk, and he's like, maybe. It's on the table. So the whole thing is just getting wild, and that's why Tesla stock has been getting hit so much, just because it's so clearly linked to the feud between Musk and Trump. That's why Tesla stock getting hit. But this morning, obviously seeing a little bit of a reprieve. Those numbers coming out, once again, a slight miss, but not as bad as some Wall Street analysts thought it was going to be. So that's on one side of the craziness of what's happening with the big, beautiful bill. But don't forget, we're also in the middle of a trade war, and we got some weird news yesterday related to Japan. Trump said trade deals would come easy. Japan is proving him wrong. So if you look at True Social, if you look at Twitter, there's a very, very good shot that you saw, hey, maybe it's going to be 30, 35%. And at one point, he was even complaining about them not taking rice. Where did that clip actually go? This is a wild clip from yesterday. And once again, please keep in mind, this is with respect to Japan and I guess the trade war, but more specifically, won't take rice.
But they and others are so spoiled from having ripped us off for 30, 40 years that it's really hard for them to make a deal. It's very hard. As an example with Japan, they won't take rice, and yet they desperately need rice. You know that. But they won't take rice. They won't take other products that we have.
What, brother?
But think of it, they need rice so badly, but they won't take rice. I figured that was an easy one. Or the cars, as you know, they send out millions. We didn't give them one car in 10 years. They won't take any cars, but they'll sell millions of cars. So we told them, sorry, you can't do that. And we have a great relationship, great reliance, and really a great sort of a partnership in a way. But on trade, they've been very unfair. And those days are gone. So what I'm going to do is I'll write them a letter, say we thank you very much, and we know you can't do the kind of things that we need, and therefore you'll pay a 30%, 35%, or whatever the number is that we determine, because we also have a very big trade deficit.
To be fair, our right sucks.
And it's very unfair to the American people. So they maybe will be happy, they maybe won't be happy. But some countries we won't even allow to trade. But for the most part, we're going to determine a number, just very simply write them a nice letter, probably one page or a page and a half at the most. And it's going to be essentially congratulations. It's going to be an honor to allow you to go and do business in the United States of America, because it really is an honor to be able to do that. But we never viewed it that way in this country. And you saw we took in 129 billion in tariffs already. We haven't even started. No inflation. Our country's
Dude,
strong.
129 mil in tariffs. Mil is so dramatically different than the trillions in excess spending. Like, those numbers were multiple magnitude off. Anyway, bigger than the Rice story is the fact that clearly these talks aren't going well. And via True Social, the president, Trump, was basically saying, hey, maybe we'll hit you with the 35% tariff. And that came out midday yesterday. And surprise, surprise, the market was like, what the fuck is going on? Trump's 35% tariff threat feeds Japan's worst case scenario fear. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Japan with tariffs of up to 35%, fueling fears of a worst-case scenario among market players and raising doubts over Tokyo's tactics in trade talks. Trump's latest threat fits in with a high-pressure deal-making strategy, but market players still need to game out how to position themselves should talks founder. This is going to be interesting. So not only do we have the big, beautiful bill to pay attention to for today, half day tomorrow, market closed on Friday, we also have the situation of trade wars where we're told a whole slew is going to be announced right around July 4th. And then one of the big ones, obviously, we have talks with the EU going on right now and also Japan. And the one side of it, Japan, not looking the best right now. Japan has stood firm in negotiations, insisting that a win-win deal must encompass all tariffs in one go. But some observers say more need to be done to convince the U.S. to back up, with a stalemate likely to delay the Bank of Japan's next interest rate hike. Now, you might be thinking, why is Japan like uniquely influential in the market? Don't forget, from a treasury perspective, that Japan outside of the U.S. is the largest single owner of U.S. treasuries, while a lot of other countries have been selling basically U.S. debt, these treasuries. Japan has been the one who's owned quite a bit of it. And then that has a massive, like, it's so incredibly intertwined with the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, and what they do. Because remember, we're in an inflationary economy. They're in a deflationary economy. They have the yield curve control. So there's, from a just academic standpoint, it's really a fascinating problem to see how this is all interplayed. But that's, like, I guess, for lack of a better really conversation here, that's why Japan in itself is so incredibly important because of all the U.S. treasuries that they own. Quick side kiss that I just want to bring to your attention. Paramount agrees to pay $16 million to settle the lawsuit by Trump. I guess he wins again. Trump alleged CBS News committed election interference with edit of the 60-minute Kamala Harris interview, and apparently they freaking agree. This is wild. Paramount Global agreed to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit with President Trump over a 60-minute interview with Kamala Harris. The settlement includes payments to Trump's future presidential library and legal fees. 60 Minutes will release interview transcripts with future presidential candidates. The settlement doesn't include an apology and comes amid Paramount's planned merger with Skydance Media and leadership changes at CBS. So, I'm not a lawyer. I know this is going to surprise a lot of you. I know you tune into the show and you look at me and you're like, that is a guy who is a lawyer. I know, surprising. I am not a lawyer. But from some of the legal minds that I've been reading about this, a lot of it might have been, they don't really care about the 16 mil. It's more of they want to move forward with this merger, and this particular lawsuit is something that they wanted to tackle beforehand just to get it done. So it's more of pay this speeding ticket of 16 mil just so they can do this like larger business move. That might be one argument, or maybe the fact that they are paying it, maybe they are admitting they did something wrong. But once again, I would want to include the fact that they did not include an apology. And if you don't know what I'm talking about at all, there was somewhat of an infamous interview with 60 Minutes where Kamala Harris, who was known to not be able to speak well at all, she had this rambling, bambling fucking answer. And instead of posting that as the answer to the question that they asked her, they cut out the answer to a different question, spliced it in as the answer to the other question where she was just rambling and bambling. And then everyone kind of realized what they did. And they said, what the fuck? Especially when 60 Minutes. And this even got recently. Did you guys see the Joe Rogan, Bernie Sanders thing where he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. 60 Minutes is great at investigative journalism. And he thinks that Bernie Sanders, when I say he, Bernie Sanders believes that Trump shouldn't be able to sue media and like, I don't know, all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, Paramount, whether they want to admit fault, they are paying $60 million. Maybe it's just to get going with the merger. But I just thought it was an interesting piece of news. And also, once again, something that really doesn't impact the trading day. I think we're going to be getting the results of the Sean Diddy Combs trial today. Feels like we're talking about a lot of legal stuff this morning, but there was one more thing that they were kind of in a stalemate on, referring to the jury. But 4 of the 5 major things, the jury's already voted. They know what they're going to do. It has not been announced, but I believe today they're going to try to come to some sort of, I don't know, resolution on the 5th one, so we might be getting it. So the answer to did he do it may be coming out today. Very quickly, just so you guys know, early this morning, we were expecting 100,000 in the non-farm employment change. It was a drop of 33. If you are an energy trader at 10:30, crude oil inventories are coming out. So I just want to put that out there. And then also tomorrow. So tomorrow's a weird day because it is a half day. Market closes at 13 o'clock, aka 1 p.m. for anyone who doesn't know what 13 o'clock means. But the fact that it's a half day, and also, we're going to be getting all these major announcements. We're going to be getting the unemployment report, the initial jobless claims, non-farm payrolls. We're going to get some non-manufacturing and services, PMI, and prices. So even though that's all coming out tomorrow, it's still a half day. And it's all coming out on a half day going into a holiday. So probably liquidity and volume will be lighter anyway. And I just want to let you know that the market's like legit close on Friday, July the 4th. So half day tomorrow, legit close tomorrow on Friday. But even with the half day tomorrow, we're still getting a lot of stuff. So just want to let you guys know. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, MattKohrs.locals.com. It's 100% free. It's always been free, always will be free. I break down what's going on in the market. I give you a little cheat sheet of all the major macroeconomic events, a little cheat sheet of the seasonality for each individual day. I do want to let you guys know that today, from a historic standpoint, it is leaning bullish. The bulls win it over the past better part of 3 decades, 56% of the time, slightly profitable. But as you're going to see over the past 7 years, it's really been favored by the bulls. Once again, from year 20 to 27, the last recent 7 years, your hypothetical equity curve would have had a very, very nice turnaround. Then once again, half day on Thursday, completely closed on Friday. Make sure to check that out. And also don't forget to show a little bit of love to Take Profit Trader. Right now, this is probably the best deal you could get for sim funded trading. 40% off. 40% off. Generally, Take Profit Traders 20 or 30. Right now, they are doing a special holiday deal, 40% off, no activation fee. And the best part is with their Pro Plus accounts, they are now no longer doing they're doing end of day drawdown. They're not doing it from the unrealized high, which is massively favorable to you, to me, to the people who are traders. If you've ever done sim funded trading, you know that the drawdown is commonly based off of your unrealized high, which means you really don't even get that much of a buffer if you're still within the buffer zone. But the fact that they are switching their Pro Plus accounts over, that is a huge move. It's a massive win. So don't forget to check it out. 40% off. Use that code Goonie. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Sim funded traders, this is, as of right now, this is your best offering. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. All right. So with all that being said, let me quickly get ready for market open. Let me get over here. Let's throw up Meta. That's been struggling recently. We have Tesla numbers coming in pretty much. Well, depends on who you, when I say at expectations, it depends on who you're asking. But right now in pre-market trading, the SPY is slightly red. The Qs are slightly red. Tesla's up 4%. At one point, it was up 6%. Meta is slightly red. So we're going to wait. We're going to see how things kind of play out today. Obviously, we're going to be looking at options flow. Just to show you, if you're joining in right now, I have not done any trades yet today. We are below VWAP. That actually might be a nice trade right out of the gate. Just play it right up to VWAP. Should I just rip that at market open? Do I do it? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no. Do I just rip it market open VWAP trade. Is that my play of the day? I have 10 seconds to decide. 5 seconds as my financial advisor. Should I do it or should I not do it? Do I have the balls to do it? Well, market's now already opened. Dingity, ding, ding, ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Would have worked. Would have worked. Would have worked. Oh, if only, if only, if only, if only, if only. If only you guys told me earlier. I could have taken advantage of it. I could have made the money. That money could have been mine. It happens. Market open 54, went up to 72. Would have been a decent trade. Would have been a decent trade, folks. VWAP is all the way up here. What number is that? 72. Right up to VWAP would be about a $300 gain, roughly. Oh, there's still opportunity. Do I want to play it? Do I want to play the 1 minute Orbo breakout? That's pretty much a super degenerate trade, but that's kind of what we're here for, right? Super degenerate trades. Well, it's kind of actually fading right now. Do I just wait? Do I need to be a bit more patient? Probably, maybe. Yes, no, maybe so. Opening auction. Holding a bit better on the Qs. The SPY a little bit more hit. Yeah, there go the Qs. Tesla, a little bit of profit taking out of the gate. Here, let me reload it just so you guys can see the options flow. Also, here's a look at the gamma map for the day. You can see we're in a gamma zone right now, pretty much right around 6,200. There's a lot of positive gamma all the way up here at 6,280. I find that position to be surprising just based on its size and whatever the hell's going on with it. But hey, it is what it is, I suppose. But like I see here, I'll zoom out. You can see a lot of positive gamma up there. Huge amount of sold calls at 6,280, 8,000 of them. And then there's also a spike here. These are long puts at 615550, something like that. So another thing to pay attention to. Here are my key levels of the day. Here, I'll go to the 1 minute. Here, maybe you could actually see it better on the 10 minute. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That's the green, the red, and the white. They just happen to be key psychological levels, pivot levels, and they commonly overlap with key open interest levels. The white box is my transition zone from a 0 DTE perspective. That is where both the gamma and the delta go through a transition. So it tells you something a little bit different about how the market makers are going to have to react. And then also the yellow horizontal lines are just the major open interest levels. You can see that we have a lot of resistance overhead right here. 6,200 key technical level, psychological level, open interest level. You can see it's the major volume node of yesterday, technically 6198 is. So if we can push and hold above that, that is a legit win for the bulls, but that's also a big if. We have a lot cooking right overhead. There's some serious resistance sitting right above where we are. So because it's so serious, the chances of rejection are like steep. You got to pay attention to it. But it also tells you that if there's enough bullish aggression to get us above and hold above even this like 2 to 3 point area, like it's a massive win. Taking out the psychological level, the transition zone, the closing from yesterday, the high volume node from yesterday. If anything, if we could take it out, easy sailing up to the volume node from 2 days ago at 6205, and then from there the high from yesterday at 6211. So obviously that's definitely what I'll be paying closer attention to out of the gate. Look, it would have worked. I could have taken that trade, folks. I could have already been done on the day. I could have been done on the day, and you guys just didn't let me. You just didn't let me. That was the trade. I said it, dude, out of the gate. Do I just play it up to VWAP? I could have been in at 54. I would have been out at 70, 75, some change. And like now we ran up to VWAP and we're getting smacked. If you don't know what VWAP it is, the volume weighted average price. So it's generally thought to be bullish above, bearish below, because it gives you an idea of the average transactional value for whatever period you're on. And if you're above it, well, that means most people are feeling pretty good. If you're below it, well, most people are probably not feeling so hot. Like I said, is it that actually simple? No. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that is like just the general thought on the situation. the general thought on the situation. So, all right, out of the gate, a little bit of a switch. Over the past 2 days, the Qs have been a bit weaker, but now the Qs are actually doing a little bit better today. They're both in the red. The SPY and the Qs are both in the red. The Qs are just in less of the red, but both are still somewhat close to just being break even on the day. Meta showing some life. I'm a big fan of that. I need it to show more life. I need this fucker at like 750. Alas, it is not. What else do we have going on? Palantir, dead to me. Netflix, I would rather that above 1,300. Tesla is holding 300. Okay. Are we having a little bit of bottoming in here? Here's a look at the options flow for the Mag 7 flat. Pretty much nothing crazy yet. And then for the S&P 500, kind of up, kind of down, probably nets out to being flat. So no clear like impulse either way. You could say that the SPY thus far has a slight impulse to the downside. The Qs had a slight impulse to the upside. How's the Russell doing? The Russell, definitely an impulse to the downside. Maybe a little bit of a rotation from small cap back to tech. That could be what's going on because tech is doing, on a relative basis, quite a bit better than small cap. And over the past couple of days, it was actually the inverse of that. The inverse of that. SPY trending down. Here's the Mag 7. Here's the SPY. A little bit of a valley setup there. A higher low being put in at 935. A little bit of a 3-bar valley right here. Bar 1 to 2 to 3. You could see the highs went lower, the lows went lower, and then all of a sudden that reverse. So a little bit of a valley setup that we're kind of seeing on the SPY and the Qs. So maybe some buyers trying to step in. That actually would have been another decent trade. Long at 81, 82. I would be out at 96, 97, something like that. So I would have actually already been done. So that's the second trade of the day I could have taken that I just completely missed. Yeah, I could have gone long at 92. I'd be out at 97. I would have just hit. So congrats to me. Second trade of the day, completely missed. So I had one opportunity to make money, didn't take it. Had a second opportunity to take money, didn't take it. So maybe, just maybe, the third time is going to be a charm. Maybe I will get lucky on the third time. But at a certain point, how many of these can you miss, you know? How many trades can you possibly miss? All right, where are we at? We still have some room to the upside here. This is going to be a massive battle, a huge battle. Right now, the average trade has been 93. How many trades can your boy miss? The SPY, it's seemingly trying to fight back around here. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7 picked up a little bit, kind of got hit. SPY, pretty much flat. Trying to decide. Your luck is that once you trade, it will be the one time it doesn't work after calling out the wins. Yeah, that's commonly how it goes for me. Meta had a nice pop there at 932. I really need this one to keep going. Tesla showing a little bit of a fight. How's Netflix doing? Not so good. Meta, Nvidia's having a nice pop, finally bouncing back. Actually, Coin's putting in a pretty decent day as well, up 2%. Apple's up another 1.5. That's that breakout from 208 yesterday. Apple's having a decent day. Nvidia's having a decent day. Even Microsoft, it's fighting back. It's definitely fighting back. There's your Nvidia. Tesla. There's your Apple. So the world's biggest stock and third biggest stock are having pretty decent starts. Let's see if there's any follow through. Let's see if there's okay. The Mag 7 starting to show a little bit of a bullish trend here. S&P 500 still a bit flat. Here's a look at the daily chart, by the way. Yesterday was an inside bar. When I say it was an inside bar, I mean the high was within the high and the low was within the low. So we had a lower high and a higher low. It's an inside bar, literally by definition, a non-trending day. There are some stats, facts, and figures that suggest whichever way you break an inside bar, you do have some follow-through momentum. It's not necessarily the most impressive stats I've ever seen, but I just did want to call that out. When you have an inside bar, yesterday was an inside bar. Once again, we are defining that by the high and the low are within the high and the low of the previous day. So Tuesday, July 1st, the high and the low were within the high and the low of Monday, June the 30th. So what you could do is wait for the high or the low of yesterday to be broken. And then from there, you do have what's generally thought to be some momentum. And yes, some statistics do back it up. Like I said, not the most amazing amount of statistics, but better than your 50-50 shot, at least. All right, so the SPY's really starting to pick up. NVIDIA's looking good. Apple's looking good. I'm seeing a bit of a pullback on the Qs. I wouldn't mind that because I don't want to chase it at a high here. I wouldn't mind a bit of a larger pullback. Apple's looking decent. Apple's actually, on the daily chart, Apple's looking, in my opinion, really good. Where's Apple? Right here. You could see that. So we recovered all the EMAs, breakout, follow through, continuation. Obviously now just watching this previous high at 214, 215, something like that. But looking for Apple to kind of show us why it used to be the number one in the world. Netflix was looking great, got destroyed yesterday. I would prefer that starts to fight back, and I'd rather it do it relatively quickly. Coin might have a pullback pop. Look for that breakout of 353. Microsoft, a little bit of a pullback right after hitting 500. You had some profit taking, nothing too crazy. Palantir, would love for it to get above 136. Tesla, upside gap fill to about 317. NVIDIA got hit yesterday with the rest of the tech sector, but trying to fight back today. Yeah, I would say Apple's, from an intraday perspective and a daily perspective, that's evidently looking the nicest, and NVIDIA is not too far behind. The daily chart doesn't look as good as Apple's, but on an intraday perspective, that's a pretty strong push. That's a pretty strong push. All right, the Qs overshot their closing value. We pulled back a little bit. What's the flow look like? All right, hang on. We're not really moving much there. Fighting. That's a breakout. Is it a real breakout, though? That's the question. It's not the worst trade I've ever heard of. Do I want to do it?
Order submitted.
All right. When in Rome, I missed the first trade of the day. That was kind of bullshit, but I don't know. I think there was some idea to it of the opening strength, people overreacting, playing it up to VWAP. And then from there, I talked about this trade at 937. VWAP pulls back. You have the valley set up, long on the breakout, risking the low. That is also, I don't know, a pretty evident one. And then today, this one, okay, I waited for the pop. I did not want to trace the intraday high. I waited for the retest of VWAP, and then obviously attempting to play the bounce off of VWAP. I don't know if it will or won't hold. I just knew I didn't want to chase it here at 939, here at 940. Like I had to wait for some form of a pullback. And then right here, I see it touches VWAP, seemingly try to start to get bouncing, and I don't mind the risk reward situation of it whatsoever. Obviously I don't know the next bar, but decent trade. Not 5 minute, 10 minute. It's a little early on the 10 minute here though. Like obviously I need this. Like, yeah, did the 10 minute go back bullish? It did. I don't mind that whatsoever. But it really hasn't proven itself quite yet. And also the 30 minute is still very much in that danger zone. It's in that bearish zone. And I say it's dangerous because I'm playing a bullish position. So this could definitely make me feel a little bit better if it gets a follow through. But I do like the 5 minute recovery right here from 840 up until now, just kind of rocketing up. And then also we did see some optimism in the options flow. So I think I feel good about being on the right side. I think there's enough measurable data points that I'm trading with trend. But even when you trade with trend, sometimes the trend switches. So your risk reward is now literally 1 to 0.25. No. How? I didn't even get to that point of the conversation of what I'm risking. How do you know what I'm risking? I literally just throw on an ATM. And also, wait. You realize that just knowing risk to reward isn't the end of the equation. We see people like this all the time with like your risk reward. That's literally only a portion of the equation. The other equation is how often are you right or wrong. If someone just tells you how often they're right / wrong, if someone just tells you what their risk reward is, you don't know if they're net profitable or not at all. Someone could have amazing accuracy and still lose. Someone could have a horrible risk reward and still be net profitable. Like that works out. Like, please tell me that you don't think you're a good trader and yet you're saying
Order
just because
canceled.
of risk reward, like you know what's going on. Anyway, regardless of your stupid fucking input, day 3 and I crush it again. Risking 4 for reward of 1. Yeah, what's wrong with that? If someone is risking 4 for a reward of 1, but let's say they're right 90% of the time, that's net profitable. Like, what's your point? Like, this is what's so crazy about like the state of retail trading is you have people like that think they're so smart and they think they know what they're talking about, but they don't know basic math. They don't know basic, folks. So for everyone else who is interested in actually learning something, let me teach you. And then to this dumb fucker who is just notoriously in here as like an actual fucking dipshit, let me explain something. No, I don't want Notepad. I want Paint. I want Paint. Let me teach you guys something. So at the end of the day, the only thing that matters in the world of trading is this big enough? No, it is not. How do where's the width? Width, whatever. Actually, can I just switch it? Why can't I change the width? How do you, if I go like this? No, I definitely don't want that one. All right, you're just going to have to deal with it or I'll zoom in. So at the end of the day, all that matters is your EV, your expected value. This is the only thing in the world that matters as a trader, as a gambler, anything. This is it. This is like the one thing. It doesn't matter your religion, your wife, your kids, your luck. At the end of the day, this is it. These 2 letters, EV, expected value. And what EV is? EV, it's a very simple equation. EV is exclusively your hit rate, which we'll call HR. That's how often you're right. Hit rate multiplied by your average win. And then you subtract your miss rate, percentage of time you're wrong, multiplied by your average loss. So we are in this world of content creation and just people being fucking stupid. And they focus on 1 of 2 things. The most common thing is focusing on hit rate. If you go to Instagram, if you go to any form of social media, if you go to YouTube, like whatever, Twitch, anything, people are like, yo, I have a strategy that is right 90% of the time. Buy my course. Give me money. I am right so often. I'm so good. 90% I'm the best person ever. Doesn't matter that I'm still in high school and I'm not at all ever really training. I am right 90% of the time. They focus on one of these variables. We've all seen it. If you go to Instagram to TikTok right now, at least if you're on the algorithm that I am, that's what you're going to see. Look at the percentage of time I'm right. But let's focus on something here. If you are right 90% of the time, where did my thing go? Okay. If you are right 90% of the time, and for the sake of math, let's just make it really easy. 90% of the time, you make $1. Cool. Awesome. But what happens if in the other, 10% of the time, what happens when you do that if you end up losing $100? By the time you do this math out, you're a net loser. 0.9 multiplied by 1 is 0.9. 10% by 100, you're off. That's a negative expected value equation. And so right there, you can jack up one of these numbers and be right a ton, but yet still be a net loser because it's the percentage of time you're right, your hit rate, multiplied by your average win size, and then you subtract the percentage of your time you're wrong by your average loss size. So what's interesting in this conversation, dipshit Michael in here is focusing on risk reward, as in, okay, like you might have a negative risk reward set up, as in when you're wrong, you lose more than you do when you're right, 4-1, 5-1, whatever. But once again, then you have to know the percentage. If someone out there has, like, let's just say an inverted risk to reward, every single time they win $10. Every single time they lose, whatever, they lose $30 or $40. But if they're right 95% of the time, guess who's still going to be net profitable? Like it's just, and what's crazy is this is basic math. It really is. And the amount of people that like think that they can chirp or something like that. And like, this is like, what's going on in our education system that people like that will be so incredibly confident all of the time? They're like, no, I heard it once that you have to have way more reward than risk. Yeah, that can work. I'm not against it. It also might not work. My point is like people focus on literally a portion of the equation, a simple portion of the equation, and they don't realize that they're missing the other variables you need to know if it's actually going to work or not. And then like they just say it, they say it so confidently. Like literally today in stream, you're seeing a real life example of it. A person in here, no, you can't do that. You can never risk more than your reward. And my question is why? My question is, you don't know unless you know the hit rate. You need to know the hit rate and the miss rate to be able to figure out that equation. Vice versa. If someone says that they're right 90% of the time, just because someone is right 90% of the time does not mean that they're net profitable. You can be right 99% of the time and still not be profitable. Same way, inverse. This is this is an extreme example, but you could be right 1% of the time and still be profitable. And my point, and like would I suggest that? No, because like at that point you have like a lot of variance and like other things to like consider if you're only right 1% of the time. But my point is the theoretical math of it. That's all possible. And the only way you actually get the answer is you need average win size, average loss size, hit rate, miss rate. Those are the 4 things you're going to need to know. And obviously you actually only need 3 because once you know the hit rate, you can deduce the miss rate. So you need those 3 variables: the accuracy of your system, your average win size, and your average loss size. You do some basic math on that equation, and then from there, you can find out if you're making money or losing money. That's what you do. That is the game of trading. And for some reason, so much of retail is just never taught that. They're never informed that that's like what you need to do. They'll focus on things like, no, I'm right all this time, or, oh my God, you're taking more risk than your reward. It's like, okay, cool. Like what? It's such like a pointless fucking conversation. But anyway, Mike, if you're still in here, I don't know, you're probably fucking rage quit because you suck at trading. Does that make sense to you? Obviously, I know I started this because of you and your stupid comment, but like at a certain point, I still actually like do want to help people like you. I kind of feel bad because I'm assuming you're horrible at trading and losing a lot of money. And it's from a business perspective, beneficial for me, for you to be a better trader, because then you keep coming back to learn more. You sign up for my sponsors, you sign up for the Discord. So like I have personal business interest in actually making you a better trader, oddly enough. Which I guess that's just how this game goes. Yeah, bro, I hear you. So do you get it? Did you get the math? Does that make sense? Who the hell does Matt think he is telling me how to lose money? Well, we'll find out. I do only spot investing. Then why are you here? Yo, Apple is taking off. That is good because I very much need it to take off. I very much need Apple to take off. My account has been getting its dick kicked in. I got this yesterday. You could see July 1st. I'm up about $13,000, about an 80% return on Apple, 12,000. This is why you get into the Discord. Not only do I explain to you basic math equations like expected value, I give you my trade call outs. Actually, it's a $16,000 return today. I didn't realize I was losing money yesterday. Oh, that makes sense because it did sell off and it closed. And I do this free of charge. And you could ask anyone in the Discord about this. I literally this is not an add-on tier or anything like this. This is just something that if you are even the lowest level member in the Discord, I give this away for free. That once again, completely free service out of the goodness of my heart. That for free, I provide very facetious, sarcastic, pissy responses to any question that I'm asked more than 100 times. I commonly get the same question over and over and over again. So I answer it. I make videos on it. I explain it. And then inevitably, I'm always asked that exact same question the very next day. And this is just, I do this out of the goodness of my heart. It is the Mother Teresa in me. That in those events, when I'm asked something that I believe is easily findable, easily to understand, for free, I provide very sarcastic, facetious, pissy responses. And I know a lot of people would upcharge for that. I get it. I know a lot of people in this world, they would take advantage of that opportunity to line their pockets even more. And they're like, nope, if you want my facetious, sarcastic, pissy response, you're going to have to pay more. And I don't. It's just because I view myself as a Mother Teresa character within this industry. I view myself as a Dalai Lama character within this industry. It's just some people in this world are all about just giving back to the community. And that's how I see myself. That's how I do it, Some people will take advantage and use it to line their pockets, but not this guy. Not this guy. Free of charge, brother. Free of charge. But Mother Teresa was a child trafficker. Yeah, exactly. I am the Mother Teresa of this industry. Nathaniel, I think we're saying the same thing. Mother Teresa was a loser. Once again, I am the Mother Teresa of this dude. What's weird is we're saying the same thing. She was a loser. She was a child trafficker. Does not change what I'm saying, folks. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't know. Okay, Tesla, you filled yesterday's downside gap. Let's fill the upside gap. Where'd Tesla get to? 307. It's up only 2%. It was up 6%. Giving back to the community by berating and yelling at it. Yeah, you're welcome. You are... you identify as a woman. I identify as a person with the hardest job in the world, being a mother. You guys ever think about that? Of as a society, we just let that one slide. Yeah. No one wanted to really question that. I get this sentiment. Fucking moms rock. If you're a mom in here, dude, moms are the best. I love moms. I like their cookies. I like their spaghetti. I like their vibes. Moms have a cool vibe. But the saying of it's the hardest job. The hardest job? I don't know if we ever fact checked that one. My mother talked to us kids like Matt talks to all of us. Maybe. Just maybe. Anyway, early this morning, the SPY is having a very difficult time at the exact level that I heard from this guy on the interweb say that we would have a very difficult time at. I just is there a service, or better yet, a free show I could potentially watch where someone tells me this before it happens? Does anyone know of that? Does anyone know of that at all? Where like, let's say before the market opened, they said something like, hey, if it goes up here, like maybe if they said a sentence like, it's pretty steep resistance and it'll be difficult to break above. So like, be careful there. Mad Money, is that what I need to turn into? Mad Money does that kind of a thing? Okay. If you have a link, feel free to DM it to me. You were saying something about AMC. In just the first day, we receive consent from more than 80% of AMC's term loan lenders to yesterday's big news. AMC reached a collaborative agreement with other AMC lenders to raise $223 million of financing to allow immediate conversion of $143 million of debt equity. Jesus Christ, dude. What a trash company. What a fucking trash company. Trades. Did you guys see that he already blew out? Fucking, man, if only someone knew that was going to come. You're telling me a guy who's had no measurable success trading and then accrued over $1 million of debt and got addicted to steroids and then thought his best idea to pay off said debt after lying to an entire community was to once again do the thing that he was proven to be bad at? No. Talk about, what were the odds on that one? What were the fucking odds on that one? I don't believe it. I, for one, don't believe it. How is he the CEO of the company? Well, think about it. The only way he's going to get out is if the board kicks him out, but the board and Adam Aron have been gouging the entire retail community for their own pay packages. They're in it together. It's not like only Adam Aron's making money in this. I mean, look at his pay, but then look at look at the entire board. They're all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots, dare I say it. No, they have like no real impetus to kick him out because they're all fucking doing this together, man. Like, come on. Bill Burr has a great argument for motherhood being the toughest job ever. Where's that guy been? Has he made any specials? I used to listen to him like a couple of years ago, but I feel like has he not made any specials? I know he's like a father now, so maybe he's like busy. Has he not put out anything new? How dare YouTube show me an ad for the lesser Logan's Roadhouse than Texas Roadhouse? What the fuck is Logan's Roadhouse? Dude, Texas Roadhouse is second to none. Bill went woke? Really? Oh, I completely missed that. He's always been woke? Holy... Are you guys screwing with me? I feel like when I listened to his stuff years ago, he wasn't like a woke person. I feel like I've heard like jokes about liberals and stuff. Holy crap. No, a lot of you are saying it. I didn't know this at all. He went woke? Seriously? Oh, he's been on Broadway. You guys are blowing my mind right now. Holy crap. So he's a father, which is actually the hardest job. Oh, that's a good one. Awesome Diesel gifted 5 subscriptions. Shout out Awesome Diesel, Spooky, Mr. Veg, Perma. What are these names? What the hell do you guys have going on over here? Okay, hang on. We are at a pretty important level. Enough screwing around. This is a serious show. All right, so we are above the close. So we're now in the green territory. We are battling it out. We did put in higher lows. This is a bullish structure. Would I be chasing it at the intraday high at a key level? No, that's stupid. You would wait for some form of a pullback. Actually, a really nice trade was right here at 10 a.m. Because you could have played this breakout above these previous highs. You're risking the recent low and you're praying for a follow through. So if you took this long right here somewhere in the 10 a.m. bar on this breakout, risking that low, going for the follow through, whoa, Mag 7 just got hit, but the SPY has been climbing. Is it the best trade? No, not. I would prefer that the options flow be a bit stronger, but it's still a good trade. If I'm up 1,400 today on my first day of a 50K take profit, should I be done because of the 50% rule? Yes. I mean, technically you could go up to 1,500, but I wouldn't. When I get to 1,400, I would like shut it down. And congrats, by the way. Congrats. He has TDS and EDS. He has Trump derangement syndrome and erectile dysfunction. The short interest on Sound is 123 million. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Let's see. SOUN Soundhound AI shorts. Yeah, it is 123 million. 34% short interest, 1.3 billion. But the cost to borrow is very low. Very low. So it's not HTB, hard to borrow. And the utilization's not maxed out. It's at 86%. Apple was having a pretty good day, taking a bit of a breather. Nvidia waking up. Netflix, fucking me. Meta finally had a nice pop. SPY, higher highs, higher lows. Qs, higher highs, higher lows. I do want to bring your attention here. Let me go to the 10-minute just so I can better explain this. That this whole zone is like a choppy fucking mess. So we have the top of the gamma and delta transition zone at 6198. Then we have this key level at 6,200. Then the high volume node of yesterday is at 6204. And then we have the high from yesterday at 6211. Like this whole zone is really, it's just a choppy mess. So when you see that high volume node, key open interest level, key psychological level, the top of the delta zone, the previous high, this roughly 14 to 15-ish point region. If you're playing that just because it is like gonna be choppy, probably a better time to size down just so you don't get whipped out of a position. Or if you're playing your normal size, maybe you want to be super aggressive with moving your stop loss to break even, just so if it does chop you out, you're good and you have a couple more bullets to fire back. But I really like, it's been a while since we've seen such a tight zone with so many different things to pay attention to. Yesterday's high, we have yesterday's high volume node, we have Monday's high volume node, we have a key psychological level, a massive open interest level, and then the top of the gamma delta zone. And then even today, the high volume node is 6195. So like this zone, of course anything could happen. I'm not oblivious to that fact, but I'm saying it is a more likely pathway than not that we experience choppiness and not just that beautiful follow through. So there's a couple ways you can interpret that. Maybe it's time to size down. Maybe if you want to keep your normal size, as I said before, maybe aggressive with moving your stop to break even if it pushes a little bit in your favor. Or maybe you interpret that of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't play zero DTEs because I'm expecting choppiness and you just don't want to get completely destroyed by theta decay. So maybe you want to play something farther out if you're in the world of options. Maybe you want to play on futures instead. There's a couple ways you could utilize that information, knowing that it's more likely than not going to be a beautiful follow through and break. Yes, could that theoretically happen? It could theoretically happen, especially if we have an announcement of like, hey, we have a trade deal with Japan. Okay, that would change the game. But I'm just saying from a price perspective of what we see going on in here, there's a lot of busyness. There's a lot of busyness in here. So obviously, hey, use that information if you want. Don't use it if you don't want to. I'm not your mom. Apple giving a little bit back. Come on. Mag 7 kind of choppy. SPY had a really nice pop from 10 to about 10.06. And now we have a little bit of profit taking off that pop. A little bit of profit taken off that pop. Is today or Sunday? No, today is today. Today is not Sunday. It was Take Profit, not Apex. Right now, Take Profit's the best deal. I use Apex, I use Take Profit, I use Vanquish, I use all of them. But right now, if you were to buy an account today, Take Profit Trader TPT is your best offering, 40% off. Use that code Goonie. The only weird thing about their website, in my humble opinion, is from a UI UX perspective, it's not like crystal clear. Not only do you have to type in the coupon code, but you also have to hit the apply button. I've gotten a couple messages from some viewers, some members who are like, no, I put it in and I just didn't get it. It's like, because not only do you have to put it in, but there's also an apply button. So I just wanted to call that out. Like maybe it can make someone's life a little bit easier. Maybe a little bit easier. Meta, nice recovery. What are the biggest gainers right now? So Tesla is technically the biggest gainer, but it's given quite a bit of it back already. So Tesla's the biggest gainer, but fading. Decent delivery numbers. Apple, the next. Coin, the next. NVIDIA's looking good. That is a good look on NVIDIA. Where's NVIDIA's daily? That is a good, hang on. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into NVIDIA. Let's see if we can spot an opportunity. Let's see what's going on with the world's biggest company. All right, so the first thing that jumps out to me is there's a huge fucking positive gamma node at 155, which is exactly where we're at. So it's currently at a giant gamma node. Specifically, it is a bunch of long calls. No, a bunch of, short calls. Positive gamma. Short calls. So this player is currently getting blown out. There's a player out there, or a group of players, that think NVIDIA will be below 155. And right now, they are feeling the pressure. They are feeling the pressure. But what's interesting is that the monthly one? Did I just take off the monthly? No, that's the next expiration, as in this week. Okay. So the gamma's going to drop. So it's pretty much the same. There's what we're seeing right now. The big influence is from the monthly. It's not from this week's. And that player is still there. Huh. But the positive news is if NVIDIA can get above and push above 156, you're going to have this fall from positive gamma to negative gamma all the way up at 167 with a potential pit stop at 165. You have support at 150. You know, I've heard of crazier trades. I have. I mean, intraday, this is looking beautiful. You could take a minimal risk trade at 154. You could risk 153, or you could risk 150. And basically, you're either attempting to play 167 or 165, and you're focusing on the monthly expiration. From a risk reward perspective, from a momentum perspective, I don't hate it. It's not the best play I've ever seen, but it's a good play. I mean, you're going for more reward than risk. You're with the trend of price, of momentum. If the trade deal announcements come out over, I guess, the holiday break, there could be a gap up. Like, of course, there's unknowns, but I would say it's actually a pretty decent setup. Pretty decent setup. Meta might be turning back up. It's close. I hope so. I need Meta to really get going. I need Meta to be like $20 higher. $30. And fucking Netflix too. Netflix was my baby for the longest time. It was keeping my account alive. But now look at it. It's just ruining my life. It's ruining my life. Actually, I would say that I'm the main person ruining my life, if I'm being completely honest. Every day I look in the mirror. I'm like, there he is. There's the fucking guy that's doing everything bad to me. Well, they're saying he is convicted on 4 or 5 charges. No. They are saying that they have deliberated and agreed on 4 or 5 charges for Diddy. We don't know if it's guilty. They came to a conclusion on 4 or 5. That doesn't mean guilty, which, I mean, if I had to guess, it sounds like the guy's as guilty as he could possibly be. But just for the sake of accuracy. For the sake of accuracy. Even though futures contracts are more expensive, my budget wise, I love how I can get into them watching you. Actually, no, you can do it really, really cheaply. You can get $50,000 worth of exposure for $100. If you said that to me 3 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, okay, like that kind of makes sense. But right now, with the rise of sim to fund trading, you could actually trade for your capital output. You could get quite a bit of exposure to the futures market for not much money. So I see what you're saying, and that's fair. And I would have fully agreed with you a couple of years ago. But now with the advent and the massive growth in the sim to funded world, you can get exposure for like about $100, which, I mean, to be honest, most of us are funding our trading account with more than $100. So on a relative basis, a bit cheaper, or potentially a lot cheaper. What else? If you were innocent of the 4 or 5, then the first charge would be innocent as well. Well, what's the last one I think they're deliberating upon is racketeering, I want to say. I want to say it was racketeering. All right. What are the big movers of the day? What are you guys watching? What's the interesting? Okay, so what the hell is BGL? A Cayman Islands company is up 63%. What's DAIC? What the fuck is this, dude? Why are all these big ones always looking like shit? This one's down 80%. What the hell happened to AEBI? It looks like it just started trading. All these always look so fucking bad. CNC, healthcare plans getting destroyed. RCT. Yeah, it's just shit penny stocks, dude. Most of these horrible penny stocks. Look at all those losses. What is RMCO? Oh, another penny stock bullshit thing. What is PHH? Park Ha Biological Technology. I don't know what it is, but I am sold. PHH. Fucking sign me up. Park Ha Biological Technology. What the fuck is it? Is a holding company which engages in the manufacturing of skincare and cosmetic products. It operates through the product sales and franchise service segments. The company was founded in Zhao Kui Zhang. Was founded by Zhao Kui. I'm sold. I'm selling everything. I'm now all in on Park Ha Biological Technology Co. This is 100% not a sketchy fucking scam. If you think it is a sketchy scam, it's because you're a racist. That's the only way you would think this is like a really fucked up scam. That's the only way in the world, is if you are in fact a racist. Dude, I'm in. Oh, dude, I'm in. Oh, dude, that's how you avoid. This is I'm gonna pull back the secret curtain on Wall Street. You can never really get hit with SEC issues if they can just never visit your website. You just never visit. Like, inherently, there is no crime if you can't even see what's going on. Like, dude, fucking, this is some big fucking brain plays here. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. You can't even go to the fucking website. Not a scam. What do we have here? Tell me more. Zhang, Zhu, and Li, CTO, CFO, CEO, corporate governance. Jesus Christ. It's so obviously bound to end in disaster. Like, this is so bad. Financial results not available. Folks, I'm fucking selling everything and I'm going all in on this motherfucker. It's it. This is the future of finance. This is it. We have just stumbled across gold. fucking, you, by definition, you can't have bad financial results if there are no financial results. That this is what you are witnessing is like a Giga Chad big brain play. Inherently, it can never be bad if there are no results. Fucking coolest company ever. I'm in on it. I'm in on it. Tell me more. Take my money. This is the website. This is it. I don't even know what they do. I don't know what they buy. They could be in the slave trade for all I know. Holy shit. This is going to end so poorly. Established in 2016, primarily engaged in developing its private skincare label, direct skincare product sales, and franchise alliances promotions under the... So it's a fucking pyramid scheme as well, with a commitment to providing cost-effective solutions to skin problems, improving the confidence of women in need of skincare treatment. What about men in need of skin? This isn't even a woke company. The company has two directly operated stores, 43 franchises, of which 41 and 2 operate under the name Park Ha in China. What the fuck? Do they have a FAQ? Can I reach out to him and be like, yo, what the fuck do you guys do? All right. 10 years of business success. I'm in. Dude, you can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that. Honestly, I think there's a better argument that if you're not putting a second mortgage on your house right now, buying PHH, you are in fact a racist. Diddy was convicted. Breaking news. Sean Diddy Combs trial live updates. Jury reaches verdict on all 5 counts after hours of deliberations. The 12-member panel previously said they were deadlocked on the racketeering conspiracy charge. What's the update? The jury sent a note informing Judge whatever that has reached a verdict on all 5 counts in the case against Combs. The 12-member panel is the third day, blah, blah, blah. Wait. That was 13 minutes ago. You're saying he was actually found guilty? Wait, what? Sean Diddy Combs found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy. Verdict on 4 remaining counts not yet read. Combs found not guilty on sex trafficking his former girlfriend. Found not guilty on sex trafficking his former girlfriend, known to the court the pseudonym Jane. So not guilty on some of them? Sean Combs convicted of prostitution. Convicted of prostitution. And then I guess this is no video yet. Is there like a live of this? So they hit him with prostitution. So I guess thus far pretty mixed, honestly. As down detector is spiking on X. So this is outside of it. Is there anyone reporting this? I'm trying to think of like, what would be like a stream that might have some of this? Because Reuters is outside. Diddy was a professional escort? It seems that way. CIA asset confirmed. Maybe. I want to know, does CNBC have this maybe? Are they chatting about it? They're always going to be a little bit behind, yeah.
Time soon, and there are no new entrants.
All right, so they're not talking about it. Why is no one... So they're just outside. Show more. What happens if I just search Diddy?
The first verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy. How do you find the defendant not guilty? And so now they'll move on to count 2. Count 2, how do you find the defendant not guilty? That is the sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. On count 3, which is Mann Act transportation involving Cassie Ventura, guilty. Count 4, sex trafficking of Jane, not guilty. Count 5, Mann Act transportation of Jane, guilty. So a mixed verdict here. Not guilty on 3 of the charges, guilty on 2 of the charges. Lisa, your reaction?
There's more to go, but
verdict,
I guess it's bullish for the stock market.
Racketeering conspiracy. How do you
Bullish
find
for the stock market.
Not guilty.
But there's still more to go, right? I thought there was like 11 or 12 charges. Is it over? No, dude, there has to be more. Matt Corsay, Les Park. I'm in. I'm buying. Diddy guilty on 2 counts of transportation. Max 10-year sentence. Unclear if they stack to be concurrent sentencing to be decided. All right, so we're just still kind of waiting on that. All right, well, as more comes out, make sure to yell at me in chat, and we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up. But we are almost at this breakout level, like I said. Oh, okay, so the volume node changed to 56203, and then 2 days ago it was 6204. So we're seeing quite a bit of action right in this zone. So if the market accepts that, that's actually a nice base for us to play off of, because you also have 6,200. This could get really interesting. How's the flow looking? Oh, the Mag 7's climbing. Okay, that's climbing. How's my account looking? I was kind of afraid to look at my account this morning, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, not a bad day. $20,000 unrealized. Not a bad day. I was up quite a bit more on Apple this morning than I am now. Fucking Meta. Meta's ruining my life. Meta, I need you to be better. Coin. We were talking about NVIDIA. Broadcom's also picking up. Why am I even looking at other stocks? We all know I'm going all in on Park Ha Biological Technology Co. Ltd. We all know. Like, why do I even... My watch list... Like, I should just delete everything. We all know that the only thing I'm paying attention to from here on out is exclusively PHH. Like, don't talk to me about the S&P 500. Don't talk to me about NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, Avago. Nothing. I don't want to hear it. If you come to this chat and you try to talk about any other ticker or crypto or Forex or anything, if it does not involve PHH in that exact order, I'm not here for it. Because I'm here for the future of finance. I am here for the future of finance. Fucking Meta. PHH or die. It's PH. What's even, dude, the liquidity, the trades have to be nothing. This thing isn't moving at all. Dude, there are individual minutes that it just doesn't trade. Oh, its volume is nothing. Its market cap is $1 billion. AMC's market cap is $1.2 billion. Folks, AMC is worth as much as a legitimate fucking scam. And that's because it is, well, they're both fucking scams. Dude, they're the same value. If this, at this rate, PHH is going to be worth more than AMC tomorrow. Oh, who said the market wasn't hilarious? That's a good one. That's a good joke, Mr. Market Gods. That's a good one. That's a good one. I love that I got bottom tick right before it puked up 20 points. That's because the market's coming for you. They're hunting your stops. You didn't know that? You didn't know that market makers are hunting retail traders' stops? Zero volume is the key to success. Oh, of course. You and I must have paid for the same course. The less volume something is trading, the better. As close to zero as possible. That's like where you really want to get in. As close to zero as possible. That is the sign of any good equity. Any good equity just does not trade. Matt, you should trade beef futures. I'm not going to trade futures on myself, brother. That would be a bit rude. A bit egotistical, if you will. All right, SPX taken out. Whoa, we're almost at a new all-time high, folks. Well, remember before when I was telling you about breaking the inside day range? Guess what we're doing? Guess what we're doing there, Tonto? We're knocking on a breakout. That we are. Oh, where is the Discord? Piper just fired. Piper just fired. Piper just fired. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Well, la ti da. Well, la ti da. Well, la ti da. Today's the second, right? Okay, cool. All right, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. She just fired. There she goes. There she blows. I guess I should do an individual trade as well. Hang on. Oh, wait. Let me check one thing quick. Interesting. Well, I did not expect that. Huh. Hang on. Let me check some of these other market internal readings. What is actually going on today? That was a bit surprising. Huh. You don't say. You don't say. All right, let's slap one of these trades in. Mag 7 is just fucking shit up. So is the SPY. NASDAQ popping. Getting a little choppy right now, but popping. Tesla was getting sold till 10, and then right at the change of the hour, Tesla options went crazy. NVIDIA options started going crazy at 9:56. Palantir's not doing much. Microsoft's not doing much. Apple was looking good until 10:04, and then the faucet got turned off. Netflix, not looking so good. MSTR, weird. Meta had a nice pop from 10 till 10:10. Now we're going flat. Avago, decently grinding up. AMD, hit until 10. So some of these tech plays like clearly changing their tune at 10 a.m. And then the question is, how much follow through can we actually get? But hang on one second. The 16th. I do need to fire off one of these trades. Okay, if you guys were going to trade something for July 16th, what would you trade? July 16th. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Did we get any more on Diddy? Did he do it? Innocent. I thought this guy was going to get kind of locked up forever. I thought we took out that high, and we're not far away from taking out the next high. Here's the Sitch Kim possible. All-time high, 6,215. We just took out the high from yesterday. We battled a massive amount of resistance in here. Very impressive from the bull camp. Let's see what happens when we touch the all-time high. If we were to touch it, I mean, obviously we have our work cut out for us still here, but currently trading at 6,211. All-time high is 6,215. Not far away. Those 4 points, SPY equivalent, would be about 40 cents, so that would just bring us over 619. The SPY is currently up 0.2%. The Qs are currently up 0.5. The Russell's up 0.6. Tesla's up 4, Apple's up 2, Coin's up 2, Nvidia's up 2, Netflix and Meta are slightly red, Avago's up 1, Palantir's up 0.7, Microsoft's break even, ASML is break even. Bitcoin's bouncing a little bit. Rum's up, trading at 950. DJT's up 2%, but trading at $18. DJT's been getting its ass handed to it. Ripple's pinned to just above $2. Solana's pinned to 150. Texas Roadhouse is at 191. Interessante, Batman. Interessante. Where's Apple? Where's Tesla? Tesla, what are we... All right, here, let's go to the 3-minute on all this. Let's go... Oops. Did not mean to do that. Let's go to the 3-minute. All right, SPY's pushing. Qs are pushing. Tesla's trying to recover. Nvidia was having a phenomenal day. Oh, it's still having an amazing day. Nvidia is crushing a Russian. Soxel, the old leverage SMH. Old Soxel. Jesus. What a pump this one has going on. Is anyone playing Soxel right now? Vietnam trade deal? You guys are saying Vietnam trade deal. Vietnam. Justin, President Trump announces he's made a trade deal with Vietnam. I just made a trade deal with Vietnam. Details to follow. I just made a trade deal with Vietnam. All right. Just made a trade deal. Details to follow. Told you we're getting trade war updates.
I'm kind of with you on that, Bakar, but Scott.
I think we need restrictions on, if you're over the age of 21 and you go to Disneyland or Disney World and you don't have children, straight to Alligator Alcatraz, El Salvador.
But have you ever been to Epcot?
I'm just saying, this is weird, and talk about people that get in the way of things. You're trying to take your kids there and you got these weirdos walking around? I'm just saying.
Go to Epcot. It's great for grown-ups, okay?
Why are you
Everyone, thank you.
Thoughts? Should we jail Disney adults? Yes or no? If you guys were the dictator of our land, the question is, would you jail Disney adults? Step by step, turn it into real systems I can paper trade. Jesus. That's not a bad P&L there, my guy. Actually, I should come back to that. That seems kind of interesting. Not guilty, not guilty. That was 6 minutes ago. 5 counts? I thought there was more than 5 counts. Dollars getting destroyed. We broke Peterson. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Oh, that was from yesterday. Old news. All right. I am not seeing anything else quite yet. As always, if you see some breaking news, feel free to shout at me in chat. But quickly back to the market. SPY taking out the high from yesterday. Not that far away from the all-time high. We are within spitting distance. So looking pretty decent there. SPY climbing, Q's climbing. Tesla, nice bounce. NVIDIA is destroying it today, rocking. Apple's having a decent day. Coin's even picking up. Netflix, no. Meta could be better. Avago. Wow, you could broad my comment at any point. Jesus, that is. Remember last week when someone was telling me we should be bearish? Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember when like you gotta be bearish at all time? Actually, there's a couple people right now in Rumble chat who are saying it. Not to name names or anything, but Kohrs Towing, you were saying you should be bearish at all-time highs, and that's just a travesty. Why is UNH down 50% from April? Because people are willing to buy it and sell it at half the price they were then in April. This is the most bullish season of the year. Yeah. And people are still saying you should be bearish. So not only are they forgetting the fact that the market is trend following. When you're bullish, you're bullish. When you're bearish, you're bearish. It's the most bullish seasonal period. We're getting trade war deal announcements. Matt, bears are on a different time frame. The time frame of being wrong. What time frame would a bear even be looking at right now? Give me a reasonable time frame that they would be bearish right now. Matt is drunk, dude. I wish. July 4th is usually bearish when the market's closed. Could be. It's all in the dark pools. That's where they save the short ladder attacks. The time frame of being stupid. I still think if you see all-time high, it's a good time to think about taking profits. Uh-huh. Yeah. No. I think I also heard that from Warren Buffett. The old adage of when something finally starts to go in your way, you should take your money off the table before it really goes in your way. I think you're right. Is that a Benjamin Graham thing or is that Warren Buffett? It could have been a Bill Ackman thing, but I think I've heard that too. That when finally something starts going your way, you should take all of your profits off the table and not let it run in your favor. I have heard. I want to say it's Warren Buffett. I think that's what he did. I think he always got out right when it started to break out. Yeah. I think I read that in his book. I'm pretty sure. I'm getting ahead of myself, but what's the seasonality for August? A bit choppy. I see where you're confused, Matt. They're on a separate time frame, not timeline. They're looking at it from an inevitable heat death of the universe. Oh, they're going like massive time frame. That's a valid point. I see what you're saying. They're like, okay, like at some point in the next 5 billion years, the sun's going to explode and eat the earth. That's, I never thought about that. That's fair. I too, here I am thinking that you should be perpetually bullish, but on a long enough time frame, that's a very valid point. A super valid point. The inevitable collapse of our entire universe. Huh. Maybe we should be super long-term bears. Maybe. This is why I love streaming, because you never know when someone's going to come into chat and completely change your perspective on the world. Time and time, and I've said it, and now I feel embarrassed. Time and time again, something's happening. Something's happening. is it profit taking or is there an announcement? Profit taking or announcement? It is my great honor to announce that I've just made a trade deal with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam after speaking with Tu Lam, the highly respected General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam. It will be a great deal of cooperation between our two countries. The terms are that Vietnam will pay the U.S. a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent into our territory and a 40% tariff on any transshipping. In return, Vietnam will do something that they have never done before, give the U.S. a total access to their markets for trade. In other words, they will open their market to the U.S., meaning that they will be able to sell our products into Vietnam at a zero tariff. It is my opinion that the SUV, or as it is sometimes referred to, the large engine vehicle, which does so well in the U.S., will be a wonderful addition to the various product lines within Vietnam. Dealing with the General Secretary Tu Lam, which I did personally, was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, the market's not so stoked on that because we get a lot from Vietnam and a 20% markup. I'm in no way surprised that the SPY took a bit of a hit there. Yes, we are pushing to all-time highs. Yes, you have some profit taking right there. And this was a bot thing. This wasn't like a human quickly read that and decided what to do. This was like a bot reaction. But a lot of stuff is produced in Vietnam. I don't know the nominal value off the top of my head, but a 20% surcharge on that. Interesting. Interesting. Nike. Oh, Nike's getting hit by this. Yes, sirree, Bobo. Oh, dude, Nike got smoked. Got fucking smoked. Oh, dude. UA. What's Under Armour? Under Armour is getting hit. Yeah, this is what happens when you make your stuff in Vietnam. This is what happy. What company here? What companies do most of their production in Vietnam? All right. Samsung does a lot there. Intel, Apple even has some stuff there. LG, Canon, Nike. Okay. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Lululemon. Yeah. Okay. So here are the Nike, Adidas, Puma, Lululemon, Gap, and Under Armour are all ones that are most likely getting murked by this. So once again, Nike, what's Gap? The Gap? Yeah. Okay, so Nike's actually a lot, about 50%. Jesus. So Nike, Gap, Under Armour, Lululemon, they're the ones that aren't going to be so stoked about this deal. They're not going to be so stoked. But the market realized that it's only going to be, like, that's it. Those are the ones who got the short end of the stick, which is why the market bounced right back. If I had to guess. Who knows? I don't know. Life is crazy like that, you know? Dude, even NVIDIA got a nice pop out of that. Fucking Netflix. Soxel. Dude, semiconductors. The way to go. The way to go. Lululemon is a whack brand. Say that yourself. The only underwear that are allowed to touch this guy's butt are Lululemon. You might look at me and be like, dude, you're the same guy who wears basically the same black t-shirt every single day of your life. You're right. I refuse to spend money on clothes that are seen from public. But when it comes to my socks and my underwear, I will ball out. Nothing but the finest silks will touch this butt and these feet. Nothing. I will happily wear my Walmart sports shorts and my black t-shirt from fucking whoever. But when it comes to my underwear and my socks, that's actually where all my YouTube checks go. Just right into Lulu. Lululemon. Save money, skip the underwear. No, I got unplugged. Pickle. This is a family-friendly show. We wear underwear. I should probably shut this down. I don't even know why I still have it open. But day 3 of the trading challenge has been a massive success. Another $6,000 locked in. We're pretty much at 51K. Going well. We're not even at the halfway mark, so there's not much to get stoked about. But hey, this one, it did pay nicely. And actually, while I'm here, cancel all orders. Let me just make sure. I just don't want any rogue orders going off on me. I don't want any rogue orders messing me up. All right. We did all of that. Cool. Let's save this bad boy and lock her down. Done. Day 3 locked in, mi amigos. Did it all, which means I've made... So I'm up $1,000 on 20 accounts. So in past 3 days, I've made $20,000 to $22,000 in 3 trading days, all live, 100% in front of you. Underwear recommendations show. Dude, Lululemon or bust. That's it. That's how we do it. Yeah, so the bots overreacted to that on that news about Vietnam. Really, it should just impact Nike, Under Armour, Gap, Lululemon. So quickly being bought right back up. The Mag 7 had a little bit of a baby hiccup, but we're popping. The thing that I find interesting about this is on the larger institutional side, we're not seeing much buying. We're seeing selling today, which is kind of freaking me out. It's starting to uptick now, but we're an hour and a half into the day. And we're actually in more net selling from the big players than the net buying. But yet they bought this all day yesterday. It's almost like they knew it was going to bounce back. Dude, they did a fuckload of buying on 624. This teal line is just what the big players are doing. Huge amount of buying, little selling, medium buying, little bit of buying. Today, a minuscule amount of selling. Once again, this is from the big players. The big players. All right, we don't need that. Trump announces U.S. trade deal with Vietnam. Oh, they're talking about Nike. What are they saying here?
That would be paid by U.S. importers at the point of where the goods cross the border, right? So U.S. Customs would be collecting taxes from American importers of Vietnamese goods. The president talks about that as a cost for the foreign government, the foreign country. In reality, those tariffs are paid by American importers, and then those importers have to sort out with their suppliers and with others and with their customers where the burden of that tariff is going to fall.
Eamon, July 9th is a week away. Is this kind of expected, this particular announcement? Are we expecting more like this over the next week? Of course, it comes just after some less constructive comments about Japan.
Yeah, I mean, the White House has been predicting a flurry of trade deals before that July 9th deadline. But we haven't seen any, right? And so this is the first time we've seen one, come above the surface, so to speak. And the question is, are there others behind this that are lined up and ready to go? That would be a vindication for the president's tariff strategy here, that rattling the global cage back in April with the so-called Liberation Day tariffs was an effective way to get countries to the table and get them to negotiate trade deals that are on more favorable terms for the United States. We'll see whether that happens, but the White House is clearly going to point to this today as a big victory and say, look, we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do.
I mean, it's kind of steep terms for Vietnam. Not as good of a deal for them. If we pay, we go in there with 0 tariffs. But it's very interesting. Thank you, Eamon.
Yeah, I just want to say one more quick detail from our Megan Casella, who points out that just for context here, Vietnam's average tariff on imports before this was 9.4%. So that's a big step up, right?
Right. No, that's a concession that they're getting, that the
Yeah,
U.S. is
that's
getting
right.
for shipping
That's
our
right.
exports there tariff-free. Thank you.
They don't buy that much from us.
Not as much as we take from them.
No, of course not.
Clearly. But, you know, what's
economy is far,
interesting,
far
David, is
smaller.
that the market is not reacting really
No,
to
although
this.
we are seeing
up
Nike's up
1.6.
2%. Some of the names in particular that rely a lot on manufacturing in Vietnam are benefiting.
Maybe it's good to just have some clarity here, ultimately, with the big unknown over what would happen, and certainly not revert to that 40%, which was originally, or 40-something percent,
Yeah, 48.
which
48.
was 44% or something originally announced. I'm just looking at some of the retailers, but they do, you know, remain higher. Consumer discretionary is higher as a group right now.
All right, let's move on here. Just about a week away from the reveal of CNBC's top states for business, and while tariff costs have taken center stage this year, we can't forget about the cost of insurance amidst what some are calling a national crisis for that industry. Scott Cohn joins us with that story. He is in one city that is seeing a spike in costs, of course, Pacific Palisades.
The one big, beautiful bill deal is all about growth. If passed, America will have an economic renaissance like never before. It is already happening. Just anticipation of the big, beautiful bill. Deficit cut in half. Record investment, cash factories, jobs pouring into the USA. MAGA. What the fuck? What do you mean the big, beautiful bill will cut it? With the big, beautiful bill. Is this one right? Yeah, Trump and Roy. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's all of what's going on. What will it do to the... How much did he say? How much did he say? It would cut the... in half? All right. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. The Senate version is projected to add around $3.3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. The House version was initially estimated at $2.4 trillion, but the Senate's version increases that by about $500 billion. Estimates suggest that the Senate version would add $4.1 trillion to the national debt, roughly $3.4 trillion from primary, blah, 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 plus $700 billion in interest. Okay. The bill uses a current policy baseline to downplay deficit estimates, a tactic that critics say makes it its real fiscal impact. Yeah, this is not... Where is he getting this? What? Someone's taking crazy pills. I don't know. Matt, you are misunderstanding the current trend versus the bill. Yes, we could cut more and should, but it does cut. What do you mean? It's adding to the deficit. And it's widening the deficit, and it's also adding to our debt. Stacey, I think you're misunderstanding the difference between debt and deficit, but really, because in this case, it's making both worse. It's adding to the debt and it's widening the deficit. It's actually increasing the trend, the velocity of the trend in the wrong direction. We add to the deficit every year. Yeah. And we shouldn't. That's exactly what Elon Musk is arguing. He's like, what are you talking? The deficit right now is at 1.5 trillion. Deficit cut in half. I'm no mathematician, but that's 0.75, 750 billion. This is estimating that we're getting into the realm of 3 to 4. By no math here are we cutting the deficit in half. And your argument that we add to it every year, like, okay, that's not good. That's like saying people get murdered every year, so it just like is what it is. No, the idea is to have no murders. Like, just because something's going on doesn't mean that it's good for it to keep going on. What a crazy argument. Holy shit. Okay. I mean, that's an insane take. An absolutely insane take. The math ain't mathin' there. The math ain't mathin'. They're going to switch it to Bitcoin? Well, when you remove 21 million illegals, it will definitely cut costs. You need to spend money to get them out. We add like 2 trillion per year. No, it's at 1.5, the most recent. And this is increasing it. Stacey, still come back to the point that he said we're cutting the deficit in half. By your own admission, it's 2 trillion in a year. It's actually 1.5, but we'll even use that number of 2. It's estimated that this will increase the deficit to 3 trillion. The deficit and the debt going up. In what world is that making it better? Matt, it's the globalists. It feels like it's the globalists. This is like, I get so angry about this of people arbitrarily hating everything Trump does or arbitrarily supporting everything he does. Stacey, be honest. You have no clue what you're talking about. For whatever reason, I assume various life experiences, you have decided that whatever Trump does, you're going to support. Why? Why? Why do people blanketly hate everything he does? Why do people blanketly like everything he does? As an informed voting person, shouldn't it be on us to look into the individual things? Stacey, the 3.3 is over 10 trillion. Yeah, as in it's, oh my God. Please tell me you think that's just going to be added in cumulatively over 10. Holy shit. Stacey, this has now gone to the point of being embarrassing. This is actually legitimately embarrassing for you. Wow. My pro tip to everyone in here, whatever political side you're on, don't blanketly agree because you look like this. It becomes massively embarrassing. Don't blanketly agree. Don't blanketly disagree. For every hot topic thing, take 20 minutes of research. You ate misunderstanding this. Stacey, I'm not. It's not even like there's a big brain thing to misunderstand. Like, this is actually like very rudimentary math of numbers going up. And it just so happens that the numbers going up in this case happen to be both the debt and the deficit. Both are getting bigger. The deficit is going to be adding on to it. So the velocity that we're adding to debt is more. Like, this isn't some big brain thing. This really, like, we're not arguing like the nuances of healthcare for a country of 350 million people. We're not. It's a basic math thing. No matter how you cut the math down, this is not somehow improving our debt or our deficit situation. We're just not. I wish we were. I wish what you were saying is right. I do. But it's just factually not. There's no person who's breaking down the big, beautiful bill saying that this is somehow going to improve our debt or a deficit situation. There might be a secondary argument, I suppose, of like, no, it's going to foster so much economic growth that later down the line, it'd put us in a better position to be able to battle the debt and the deficit. But the initial impact of just what's going on is going to add to the debt and it's going to widen the deficit. So like, I would maybe be willing to hear like a secondary of like, no. Like, for whatever reason, XYZ, 5 years down the road, we're going to have so much economic growth that there's going to be so much tax dollars coming in that we're going to be able to have no deficit and we're going to pay down the debt. Maybe. I have questions of if the government even really wants our debt to go to zero. I think they very much want the deficit to go to zero, but our system is not built to take care of our debt problem. It would, and I know it's similar because we hear debt and we hear deficit, but we would actually have a lot of what's referred to as counterparty risk issues if we paid our debt down to zero. I don't think anyone who studies the economy or anyone in the government really has the plan of getting our debt to zero. I think they want our deficit to get closer to zero, for sure, but those are two very different things. Two very, very different things. Anyway, the SPY taking out the high from yesterday, almost at the all-time high. The Qs are also looking phenomenal, back above 550, and then the all-time high is 552.80. We'd love to see that follow through. The Russell also looking good. Nice pump on the Russell. Tesla falling back or bouncing back from potential disaster. Apple looking awesome, looking for that breakout at 214. Coin pull back, higher low, looking for the follow through. Nvidia pumping up, almost looking for a new all-time high. Netflix makes me want to scream. Meta fighting back. Avago fighting back. Palantir not really, maybe trying to find a bottom, but not really doing the most. Microsoft not doing much. ASML fighting back. Fighting back. Avago looking good. Nvidia. Yeah, tech's, unlike yesterday where tech was horrible, we're now literally about to take out the high. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Wild. Anyway, folks, that's what I have for you. Your boy has to hop on a couple business calls before the holiday because I'm a businessman and I'm a grown adult who takes business calls and I don't get nervous about it at all. And I definitely don't cry beforehand. What just broke out? The Qs just took out their high from yesterday. So I have some business calls. We'll do an update video tonight. And I don't want to be that guy. But I can't commit to a show tomorrow morning. I have all personal intent to do the show tomorrow morning, but there might be something out of my control that stops me from doing it. There is a small percentage chance that I have to be the designated driver bringing my friend home from a surgery in the hospital. So, in the small percentage chance that I am the designated driver to bring my friend home from an anesthesia thing, I might not be here. There's a larger percentage chance that I will be here doing what I need to be doing with all of you. So I just want to let you know, I can't commit to anything. Better statistical chance that I will be here than I won't be here. But if I'm not here, you know what's going on. I'm just being a good pal to my good friend, you know? Piper stream. I could just put Piper on stream. We could do that. We could literally just throw Piper up. You have friends? I would say the answer to that, I have a friend. Like, if you get rid of the S, you're correct. So we'll find out. We will find out. I'll keep you, I don't know, proof of friend. So a shout out to Take Profit Trader, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that link, use that code Goonie to get the best deal that we've seen from them in a minute. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Other than that, pay attention to your risk, pay attention to your reward, stick to your trading plan. I hope you guys absolutely crush it. I hope you make a shitload of money. Update video today, and that'll be coming out later today, and then we'll try to stream once again tomorrow. That's what I have for you guys. Best of luck. I appreciate all the good vibes. I hope you guys crush it. Love you all. Peace.